Hey, you guys, it's Life of Nikki Lee podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing well and living your fullest every day. So on tonight's podcast, what I want to do is talk about what's going on out there in Texas, you guys. Now, last week, I initially said that I was going to be discussing some artificial intelligence apps that I think people need to be made aware of, and I still do, and we will get to that. As a matter of fact, there's a clip that I'm going to insert in this podcast that does tie into artificial intelligence. So I want you guys to take a listen at that when I post it. But first things first, these tragic events that have unfolded in Texas, as you all know, these floods have been horrible. They've taken so many lives already. Thoughts and prayers go out to the victims in Texas. And if I find any resourceful links where we could send help, donations of any kind, I will post them in my community board. But what everyone wants to know is, how did this start? Could it have been prevented? And is there something more sinister lurking behind this catastrophic event? Take a listen at this video.
The original forecast that we received on Wednesday from the National Weather Service predicted 3 to 6 inches of rain in the Concho Valley and 4 to 8 inches of rain in the Hill Country. We worked with our own meteorologist to fine-tune that weather statement, and as many of you know, and many of you in broadcast journalism and meteorology, you can go back and look at your own forecast, and the amount of rain that fell in this specific location was never in any of those forecasts.
This rain event sat on top of that and dumped more rain than what was forecasted on both of those forks. When we got the report, it was about 7 feet or so on the South Fork, and within a matter of minutes, it was up to 29 feet, and all of that converged at the Guadalupe, and that's where we saw those very quick rise in flood.
But listen, everybody got the forecast from the National Weather Service, right? You all got it. You're all in media. You got that forecast. It did not predict the amount of rain that we saw.
So you have to ask yourself, what would have caused so much rain to fall in that short of amount of time? Do y'all remember the day before yesterday, NASA scientists seen this above Mexico? Also, this came out July the 1st. Pentagon will no longer share satellite data that tracks hurricanes overnight. These satellites are equipped with unique tools to peer beneath cloud cover and capture microwave images that forecasters can't get anywhere else. If you watch the radar for this storm, you can literally see the manipulation. See those lines? Then you have to ask yourself, why would they do this? In March this year, the City Council approved a $175 million power plant project in Kerrville, Texas. Why would they need a bigger power plant? For AI data centers. Anyone with eyes to see can see a pattern here. Every time there's a big disaster, there's either a smart city going up, lithium mining, or data centers for AI. HAARP uses high-frequency radio waves. So of course they don't want us to see the microwaves that are being put into these storms. And that is why the Pentagon has stopped sharing satellite weather data. Everyone, please pray for the ones that are still missing and the families that have been affected by this storm.
All right, you guys. So here's the video clip of when all hell initially broke loose. The people standing there watching the water, almost in a sense of disbelief, because keep in mind, the National Weather Service did not predict this happening whatsoever. Also, look at the time clock. Seconds. Literally within seconds, this water rose so high, was going so fast, flooded out everything. Absolutely dangerous. So just imagine what it is like being outside, you're having fun with your friends, like these young ladies were at Camp Mystic, and then all of a sudden, water comes crashing in out of nowhere. Crazy frightening. Now listen, every now and again, your girl will listen to a good conspiracy theory, okay? Because they exist for a reason. And it doesn't hurt to think outside of the box, y'all. A lot of times people just want you to look at, well, did this happen? How do you know? Look at reasoning, look at logics, look at fact. Sometimes y'all got to listen to other perspectives. You have to think outside of the box. Critical thinking, you guys. And I'm not so high and mighty that I'm above listening to someone else's perspective, okay? As you all know, 2025 has been a crazy year of fuck around and find out. It has been a crazy year of tragic events and just what happened, who done it. Just so much has been happening since January alone. We can't help but to look at certain things. Is there a sinister plot behind it? Now, I will tell you one thing. In all my life, and you're talking about somebody who experienced Hurricane Katrina back in 2005. Now, I've seen water, rush high and, climb at a very high pace within, seconds. Water has a mind of its own. But one thing that I do know, it doesn't just rush like that out of nowhere. There's a triggering response behind it when you see water rushing up that high and flooding out. It isn't just, it's been raining and this became overflood. Okay, from where? Where did all this water come from? Was something shifted in the ground now I know when there's a shift in the earth and it's under a large body of water, that can cause water to flood out and come on land. I know that. But you guys, the National Weather Service, as you saw in that first video, this was not quote unquote predicted. Nobody saw this coming, or they were not forewarning of people if they saw this coming. And also keep in mind, budget cuts, okay, via your commander-in-chief. Lots of budget cuts, lots of people getting fired who had very important jobs who look out for stuff like this. Now, you can call it what you want, and no, I'm not trying to bring politics into it, but what I am saying is there are people in this world that play a role in a lot of things. And some people do a good job, and some people come in and just mess everything up. And you know what I'm saying when I'm getting, you know what I'm getting at, okay? So you shouldn't be offended at that, because that is the truth. A lot of things have been happening. A lot of things have transpired. People have been getting fired. People in certain positions who were supposed to be overseeing a lot of things, they've been getting replaced by God knows what and who to do some kind of job. And you see a lot of artificial intelligence coming into play behind it. Connect the dots, people. There is something going on here. And you cannot look away. You cannot look away. So with that being said, I want y'all to take a look at this next clip and hear what this fella has to say.
We've all seen the truther videos out of Texas. Something doesn't add up. They were cloud seeding just days before this flood happened, and nobody told that summer camp to evacuate. Why? Because it was a Christian summer camp that was sacrificed. Neptune and Saturn were retrograding into Aries. That's a major conscious expansion. Saturn is government, so they were losing control. So what do? They do a tragic event so that we don't consciously expand. It's the same thing they did on 9/11. Pluto and Saturn. So when they have these major celestial events, which is what the occult operates on, and they know it's going to expand consciousness, they do a massive tragedy to prevent our consciousness from expanding. It sounds crazy, but the occult understand how the world really works. Nobody believes me about how the occult controls your life. They do every little stupid thing they can do to control your life. So start studying what I try and teach you. I'm not a big astrology person, but this one is easy, right? Neptune and Saturn going into Aries. Yeah, and they do a major Christian sacrifice.
So Texas, are we going to say that this thing rising 37 feet in just a matter of minutes is normal? Are we going to say that back in 1936 or 1932, whatever it was, it raised up 36 feet after 36 inches of rain? in less than 36 hours, and this time we have 12 inches of rain, right? You say, oh, well, it was different where it was. Fine. But we got a 40-foot wall of surge. Take a look. Look at the width of that river. Look at the width over there, how far that is. You see, we're all supposed to believe that with a third of the amount of rain, all of a sudden, we've got this water surge of 40 feet, right? The worst in 100 years. And this all came and nobody knew, nobody predicted it. The weather, nobody knew about this, right?
Our own meteorologist to fine-tune that weather statement, and as many of you know, and many of you in broadcast journalism and meteorology, you can go back and look at your own forecast, and the amount of rain that fell in this specific location was never in any of those forecasts.
So you hear him right there. The amount of rain that fell was never in any of those forecasts. So how could the greatest flood in 100 years not have been predicted? Right? How could they not have known? Oh, well, it's the Texas Hill Country. It's flash floods, yada, yada, yada. Doesn't matter. We got a wall of 40 feet of water, and we had no idea. Well, look at that. Map of rain enhancement projects in Texas. Right there in the Hill Country where it happened, huh? I'm sure this is normal. You see nothing, and then bam, right? Look at these charts. Look at this. 42 feet is unreal. Something's afoot, right? Everybody's talking about this. This is what's trending. Nobody believes that this just happened spontaneously, right? Think of the anomalies. You have Lahaina, you have L.A., you've got Asheville, North Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, where the Category 3 hit the coast and then turned to a Category 5. Everybody's questioning this stuff. Everybody, everywhere, and it's trending. It's about time we got some truth out of this, no?
Okay, so you heard those two different perspectives. Now, I'm leaning towards what the young lady said in the beginning of the video when she was talking about people being laid off from jobs who are responsible for overseeing certain things because they have these so-called microwaves they want to put in place for artificial intelligence. It makes all the sense in the world because when you look at the world today, when you look at how technology has evolved, AI is becoming very, very popular. It's becoming a little too popular. Now, AI, for many, it is a good thing, but it is also potentially detrimental. And again, we'll get into this I'm going to do a part 2 of this podcast. I'm going to do a part 2, and we're going to take a deep dive into AI, the good, the bad, the ugly, and all of the things. And we're just really going to have to look at what people do when they get a hold of artificial intelligence. Because like I said, it can be used for something good and it also can be used for something bad. And if you're dealing with the human race, best believe it's not always going to be a good thing. Okay? Because people will always have their motives for doing certain things. My thoughts and prayers go out to the victims in Texas. This is very, very tragic. This is so sad, you guys. And the fact that FEMA has now been gutted by your commander-in-chief, these people are getting little to no help, and it's just very sad that people have lost their loved ones. They've lost their homes. Everything that's been circled around their life is gone. Can you imagine that? You wake up one morning thinking you're going to go to Starbucks or you're going to go out for a light jog, and you see a little cloudy weather and you think, oh, it's just, some rain today. And then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. And then before you know it, you're standing in feet of water in your own house. You see your car going down the damn river. Like, can you imagine how traumatizing that is? These people are really going through it. And I honestly believe it's not, things do happen, with weather, natural disasters do occur. I'm not negating that at all. You can call it an act of God or whatever the case may be. But sometimes there are people with bad motives behind these things, y'all. We just have to tell the truth here. We have to embrace other perspectives because there is a lot happening. And don't you think it's just kind of weird that now that AI is progressing more and more, so many more triggering events are happening around people. We have to look at that, you guys. You can't turn away from it. Things are happening out here, and we got to open up our eyes and realize what's going on around us. Okay? Don't be blind to the sinister plots of man. Open your eyes to everything. There are motives afoot, you guys. I'm telling you. And the more time passes, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So we will be back with a part 2 podcast. We're going to do a deep dive into artificial intelligence, the good, the bad, the ugly, and all of the things in between. Leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think. Are you out there in Texas? Have you caught any of this weather? What are you experiencing? What are you going through? My thoughts and prayers are with you all. I love you all. We'll be back with another one, you guys. Stay blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.